There was a garden in an old town, a garden that did not exist during the day. No map showed it, no road led to it, no sign told anyone where to look. And if you walked past the old stone wall in the afternoon, you would see nothing unusual, only moss, wild grass, a few crooked trees, and an old iron gate covered in rust. But when the moon climbed high enough, the gate opened, the trees turned silver, and flowers appeared beneath the darkness. Thousands of them. Blue flowers, white flowers, golden flowers, flowers that glowed softly beneath the moon and whispered secrets to anyone willing to listen. Most people had heard stories about the garden, but nobody had ever found it. Nobody except Mara. And Mara discovered it on the night she became too tired to keep pretending that she was all right. But before we follow Mara through that mysterious gate, if you enjoy quiet stories filled with mystery, nostalgia, magic, and peaceful nights, you can subscribe to Fable Glow. Stay here, lower the lights, get comfortable, and let the story carry you somewhere far away. Because tonight, the garden has a secret waiting for Mara, and perhaps it has one waiting for you, too. Mara was 32 years old. She lived alone in a small apartment at the quiet edge of town. Her apartment was comfortable. There was a soft chair beside the window, a wooden bookshelf, a small kitchen with yellow cupboards, and on one wall, an old photograph. It showed Mara when she was a little girl. She was standing beside her mother in a garden. Both of them were smiling. Mara rarely looked at the photograph anymore, but sometimes, late at night, she would catch herself staring at it. She couldn't remember what they had been laughing about. That bothered her, not because the memory was important, but because she remembered once being able to remember everything. The smell of her mother's kitchen, the sound of an old radio playing in the morning, the little wooden spoon she used to stir tea, the sound of rain against the windows during summer storms, the feeling of falling asleep while adults talked quietly in the next room. Those memories had once felt permanent. Then, somehow, life became busy. Years passed, and the little things disappeared first. A favorite song, a familiar voice, the smell of an old house, the exact sound of someone laughing. Until one day, Mara realized she had forgotten the sound of her mother's voice. She knew it had been warm. She knew it had been gentle, but she could no longer hear it in her mind. That was the kind of tiredness Mara carried. Not simply the tiredness of work, not the tiredness of long days, It was the tiredness of carrying too many memories, while slowly losing the details that made them beautiful. Every night, she struggled to sleep. She would turn off the lamp, pull the blanket around herself, listen to the clock, tick, 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 and wait. Her mind wandered through the past, things she should have said, people she had lost, doors she hadn't opened, dreams she had abandoned. Sometimes she wondered when life had stopped feeling like something she was living and started feeling like something she was remembering. One evening in late autumn, rain began falling just after sunset. It was the kind of rain Mara remembered from childhood. Slow, steady, almost musical. She made tea and sat beside the window. The room was dark, except for a small yellow lamp. Outside, the streetlights reflected on the wet pavement. For a moment, she remembered being 8 years old. She was sitting on the floor of her mother's kitchen. There was rain outside. Her mother was making tea. An old radio sat on the counter. A song was playing quietly through its tiny speaker. Mara had been drawing flowers on a piece of paper. Her mother had looked over and asked, "What are you drawing?" "A garden. Does it have flowers?" "Of course. Do they bloom during the day?" Mara had thought about it. Then she had smiled. "No." Her mother laughed. "When do they bloom?" "At night." Mara smiled at the memory. She hadn't thought about that conversation in years. Then, something strange happened. From somewhere outside, she heard the same song, the old song from the radio, the song her mother had played all those years ago. Mara froze. She listened. The melody was faint, almost impossible to hear beneath the rain. But she knew it. She stood, walked to the window, and looked outside. Across the street, behind the old stone wall, a soft blue light was glowing. Mara put on her coat. She didn't know why. Perhaps she was following the song. Perhaps she was following the light. Perhaps she was following something she had been missing without knowing its name. The streets were empty. Rainwater shone beneath the street lamps. When Mara reached the stone wall, she stopped. She had walked past this wall hundreds of times. But tonight, there was something different. An iron gate stood between two old stone pillars. It was covered with vines. Mara reached for it. The gate opened slowly, without a sound. Beyond it was a narrow stone path. And beside the path, tiny flowers were glowing. Mara stared. They looked like something from an old storybook. Their petals were almost transparent. blue light moved through their veins. She stepped inside. The moment her foot crossed the gate, the town disappeared. No cars, no rain, no clocks, no distant voices, only silence. And beneath that silence, the softest sound of leaves moving. Mara looked back. The street was still there, but it seemed very far away. Then the flowers began to whisper, "Welcome back." Mara stopped. Back? A small silver flower opened beside her. "Yes, but I've never been here." The flower shimmered. "Not with your feet." Mara followed the path. The garden seemed endless. There were trees with silver leaves, stone benches covered in moss, old lanterns hanging from branches, a fountain surrounded by white flowers, and tiny paths disappearing into darkness. The flowers whispered as she walked. Some spoke about people. Some spoke about dreams. Some spoke about ordinary things. A yellow flower whispered, "You used to love strawberry jam." Mara smiled. Another said, "You once slept beside an open window during a summer storm." She remembered. Another whispered, "You liked the sound of pages turning." Mara stopped. She remembered sitting in her grandmother's house, the afternoon sun coming through laced curtains, a ceiling fan turning slowly, a stack of old books beside her, the smell of dust and tea, someone washing dishes in the kitchen. She had been happy, not because anything extraordinary had happened, but because nothing needed to happen. That was the strange thing about childhood. Sometimes happiness had been so ordinary, she hadn't known it was happiness. Deeper inside the garden, Mara heard music, a soft melody, thin and distant. She followed it. Behind a tree, she found an old wooden table. On it sat a small vintage radio, the kind with a cloth speaker, the kind people used before phones filled every quiet moment. Mara touched it. The radio crackled. Then a voice came through. Her mother's voice. "Mara?" She froze. The radio continued, not speaking words, just playing an old recording. Her mother humming. Mara's eyes filled with tears. She sat beside the radio. For years, she had been afraid that she had forgotten her mother's voice. But perhaps she hadn't forgotten it completely. Perhaps it had simply been buried beneath everything else. The music played, and suddenly, Mara remembered a winter morning. She was 12. The windows were fogged. Her mother was baking bread. The kitchen smelled of warm dough and cinnamon. Mara was sitting at the table, wearing an oversized sweater. Her mother placed a cup of tea in front of her. "Careful," she had said. "It's hot," Mara had laughed. Outside, the world was gray. Inside, everything was warm. The memory faded. Mara whispered, "I wish I could go back." The radio crackled. Then the garden whispered, "You don't need to go back." Mara looked around. "You can carry the warmth forward." Mara walked until she reached a clearing. In the center was an old wooden bench. Beside it grew a single dark blue flower. Its petals were almost black. Tiny silver lights moved inside them. Mara sat. The flower opened. "You have been looking for something." Mara looked at it. "What?" The flower whispered. "Home." Mara looked down. "My home is my apartment." "No." The flower's petals moved gently. "You miss a time." Mara swallowed. "What time?" "The time before you became afraid of losing things." Mara said nothing. The flower continued. "You remember childhood as a place, but it was not a place." "What was it?" "A feeling." Mara closed her eyes. She remembered old summers, bare feet on cool floors, open windows, the smell of rain, ice cream melting too quickly, the sound of bicycles outside, her mother's voice calling her home, an old television playing in another room, the smell of books, the warmth of afternoon sunlight. She had spent years trying to find those things again, but perhaps they had never truly disappeared. They had simply become memories. At the center of the garden stood a small wooden house. Its windows glowed warmly. Smoke rose from its chimney. Mara approached. The door opened before she touched it. Inside was a room that felt strangely familiar. There was a fireplace, a wooden table, 2 chairs, a kettle, a shelf filled with old photographs, and on the table, a glass jar. Inside it were hundreds of tiny lights. Mara stepped closer. "What are they?" The garden whispered. Memories people were afraid to carry. She looked at the lights. Each one contained something. A wedding, a goodbye, a childhood bedroom, a train station, a handwritten letter, a birthday cake, a family sitting around a table, a person waiting at a window. Mara touched the glass. One light became brighter. She saw herself at a train station. Years ago, someone she loved was leaving. She wanted to say, "Please stay," but instead, she smiled. The train left. The memory faded. Mara pulled her hand away. "I thought I had forgotten." The house whispered, "Some memories hide because they hurt." Mara looked at the jar. "Can I put mine here?" "No." "Why?" "Because you don't need to forget it." "What do I need to do?" The answer came softly. "Remember it without living inside it." Outside the house stood an old woman. Her silver hair moved gently in the night breeze. She wore a long gray coat. In her hand was a small watering can. She was watering flowers. Mara approached. "Are you the gardener?" The woman smiled. "Sometimes." "Who are you?" "Someone who remembers to care for forgotten things." Mara looked around. "Who planted this garden?" The gardener looked toward the moon. "Everyone who ever needed it." "Why does it bloom only at night?" The woman smiled. "Because during the day, people are too busy." Mara laughed softly. "That sounds true." They rush. They work. They answer messages. They make plans. They worry about tomorrow. And then, at night, when everything becomes quiet, the gardener looked at the flowers. People finally hear what they have been carrying. Mara looked at the glowing garden. And the flowers? They listen. The gardener walked away. Mara remained near the dark blue flower. After a long silence, it whispered, "You are afraid." "Of what?" "Of being happy." Mara looked away. "That isn't true." The flower waited. "You think happiness makes you careless." Mara's eyes filled with tears. "You think that if you love something deeply, you will eventually lose it." Mara whispered, "Stop." But the flower's voice remained gentle. "So you stopped wanting too much. You stopped dreaming too loudly. You stopped expecting good things. Because disappointment seemed safer." Mara sat beneath the moon, and for a long time, she cried. The garden did not tell her to be strong. It did not tell her that everything would magically become better. It simply stayed with her. Thousands of flowers glowing quietly in the darkness. Sometimes, that is all a tired person needs. Someone or something that stays. Mara eventually walked toward a pond. The water was perfectly still. Instead of reflecting the garden, it reflected stars. She sat beside it. Then the surface changed. She saw herself living beside the sea. Another image appeared. She was painting. Another. She was sitting in a cafe with friends. Another. She was laughing in a kitchen. Another. She was walking through a strange city. Another. She was in love. Mara watched silently. Which one becomes real? The pond whispered. Perhaps none. Mara frowned. Then why show me? To remind you that the future is not a single road. The water rippled. It is a garden. Mara smiled. Gardens have many paths. Yes. And I can choose? Yes. What if I choose wrong? The pond whispered. Then you choose again. Mara looked at the stars. For years, she had believed every decision was permanent. Now, she wondered if perhaps life was kinder than that. Perhaps we were allowed to begin again. Near the pond stood a wooden chest. Mara opened it. Inside were letters, hundreds of them. Some were yellow with age. Some were tied with faded ribbons. Some were written on old stationery. One letter had a small dried flower pressed between its pages. Mara picked it up. She didn't know whose it was. She read the first line. I wish I had told you how much that summer meant to me. She opened another. I still remember the sound of your laugh. Another. If I could return to one evening, it would be the evening we stayed awake until sunrise. Mara smiled. She remembered doing that once, sitting on a rooftop with someone she loved. They had talked about everything. Dreams, beers, travel, the future. The sun had risen before they realized the night was over. It had been years ago. Mara had forgotten the conversation, but she remembered the feeling of being completely present. The gardener appeared beside her. Why keep these letters? So, people, remember. Remember what? That life is made of moments. Mara touched the old paper. Even the small ones? Especially the small ones. The moon began moving toward the horizon. The flowers were slowly closing. Mara knew it was almost morning. She turned to the gardener. Can I come back? Yes. How will I find the garden? The gardener smiled. You won't. Mara frowned. Then how can I come back? You cannot search for it. Why? Because the garden only appears when you stop searching. Mara looked confused. The gardener continued. When you need an answer, you look outward. When you need rest, you look inward. Mara thought about that. Then she nodded. There is one more rule. What? Never come here expecting the garden to fix your life. What does it do? The gardener looked at the flowers. It reminds you that your life is still yours. Mara began walking toward the gate. Then she noticed something. A tiny white flower was growing between two stones. It was different from every flower in the garden. It was not glowing blue. It was not silver. It was simply white. Mara knelt. What is your secret? The flower opened. I bloom tomorrow. Mara smiled. But tomorrow is daytime. I know. Then why wait until tomorrow? The flower whispered. Because some beautiful things belong to daylight. Mara looked at it. The flower continued. And some things are worth waiting for. Mara touched one petal. The flower closed. And, for some reason, Mara felt hopeful. The gate waited at the end of the path. Mara turned around. The garden was glowing. Every flower seemed to be looking at her. Some whispered, "Rest." Others, "Remember." Others, "Forgive." And one tiny flower whispered, "Begin." Mara smiled. "Thank you." The flowers answered, "Come back when you forget." She stepped through the gate. The moment she crossed, the sounds of the town returned. A distant clock, a passing car, the wind, a dog barking, morning birds. She turned around. The garden was gone. Only the stone wall remained, and the rusted gate was nowhere to be seen. Mara returned to her apartment. The sky was beginning to brighten. She made tea. Then she opened the old cupboard. Behind a stack of dishes, she found something. An old cassette tape. She didn't know why it was there. She found an old tape player in a box. After searching for batteries, she finally made it work. The tape crackled. Then, her mother's voice filled the kitchen. Mara froze. Her mother was laughing. Then she began singing softly. The same song from the garden. Mara sat at the kitchen table. She listened, and suddenly, she wasn't 32 anymore. For a few minutes, she was 8. Rain outside. Warm kitchen. Old radio. Fresh bread. Her mother's voice. The safe feeling of knowing someone would call her name when dinner was ready. Mara closed her eyes. She cried, but this time the tears were gentle. They weren't tears of losing. They were tears of remembering. When the tape ended, Mara whispered, "Thank you." That morning, Mara opened a notebook. At the top of the first page, she wrote, "Things I don't want to forget." Then she began. The smell of rain, the sound of my mother's laugh, warm bread in winter, the old song from the radio, summer evenings, handwritten letters, the feeling of falling asleep while someone talked in the next room, the sound of pages turning, the first cup of tea in the morning, the way sunlight looked through old curtains. She stopped, then added, the feeling of being happy without knowing it. She closed the notebook. For the first time in years, She didn't feel that she had to return to the past. She could remember it and continue. Years passed. Mara changed. She traveled. She painted. She learned to cook the bread her mother used to make. She bought an old radio. She wrote letters instead of sending messages sometimes. She planted flowers beside her window. She made new friends. She loved again. She lost again. She laughed. She cried. She made mistakes. She began again. And sometimes, when life became too loud, she would walk outside at night. She would leave her phone at home. She would walk slowly, listening, waiting. Sometimes she heard nothing. Sometimes only wind. Sometimes rain. But once, many years after the first night, she saw something. A tiny blue flower growing between two cracks in the pavement. It glowed for only a few seconds, then disappeared. Mara smiled. She knew the garden was still there. Perhaps it is still there tonight. Perhaps the moon is shining over it now. Perhaps the old iron gate is slowly opening. Perhaps the flowers are waking, one by one, blue, silver, gold, white. Perhaps they are waiting for someone who has been awake too long, someone who misses a person, someone who remembers an old house, an old song, an old kitchen, a childhood summer, a voice they can no longer hear clearly, someone who has spent years believing that the past is somewhere they must return to, when really the past is simply something they can carry gently. Perhaps the garden knows this. Perhaps that is why it blooms only at night. Because darkness has a way of making small things visible. A memory, feeling, a forgotten dream, a quiet hope, a single flower. Piano becomes softer. Gentle rain returns in the background. And perhaps you can imagine the garden now. You are standing beneath a silver moon. The night is cool. The path beneath your feet is made of old stone. There is no traffic, no phone ringing, no messages waiting, no tomorrow asking anything from you. Only the quiet. And somewhere ahead, an iron gate is opening. Beyond it, flowers are beginning to glow. You walk slowly, one step, then another. The flowers whisper as you pass. They do not ask you to explain your life. They do not ask you to forget. They simply remind you that some memories are meant to be held softly, not tightly. That some things ended, but that does not mean they were meaningless, that some dreams were delayed, but not necessarily lost, and that growing older does not mean leaving every beautiful thing behind. Sometimes, growing older simply means learning how to carry the beautiful things with you. The garden grows quieter. The moonlight rests on the flowers. A distant breeze moves through the trees, and somewhere nearby, you hear the faint crackle of an old radio. A familiar melody, perhaps a song from another time. A song you haven't heard in years, and suddenly you remember. A kitchen, a window, rain, someone laughing, warm tea, an old photograph, a summer evening, a voice saying your name. For a moment, you are there again. Not because time has moved backward, but because some moments never completely leave us. They simply wait, quietly, until we are ready to remember them. So tonight, you don't have to solve everything. You don't have to know what tomorrow will bring. You don't have to hold every regret. Let some things rest. Let some memories become gentle. Let the old songs play quietly in your mind. Let the people you miss live for a moment, not in your sadness, but in your gratitude. And if you have forgotten something beautiful, perhaps it is not truly gone. Perhaps it is simply waiting, like a flower beneath the soil, like a letter inside an old wooden box, like a song recorded on a forgotten cassette, like a garden waiting for the moon. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. The night is here. The world can wait. Tomorrow can wait. For now, there is only the moon, the quiet path, the glowing flowers, and the gentle whisper of the garden. Rest. Remember. Let go. Begin again. And somewhere beyond the old stone wall, the flowers are blooming. Only at night. Only for those who are quiet enough to hear them. And if you enjoyed this little journey, you don't have to leave the garden just yet. Whenever you need another quiet place to rest, Fabled Glow will be here. So, if you'd like to return to stories like this, under moonlight, beneath the stars, subscribe to Fable Glow. You never know. Perhaps the next story will open another hidden door. For now, let your eyes grow heavy. Let your breathing become slow. And carry one small piece of this garden with you. A little peace, a little hope, a little light. Good night, and may you find your own little garden whenever you need somewhere peaceful to rest.